Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily if you're new here, and I bet you can guess by the plant that's in here with me that today we're going to be talking about my care tips, tricks, and everything in between for my giant Alocasia Frydek. So as you can see, I am sitting on the ground. This is sitting straight on the ground and it is about as tall as I am. And yes, we got a new variegated leaf. So we also, we got a new leaf coming out of the big plant in the middle. So I'm just gonna put her here so you can see her because she's pretty. And I'm just gonna go through the light requirements, watering, humidity, and just general care tips and propagation things with her. So I keep my Frydeks and actually most of my plants in general in a pretty high light situation. They sit in this window right to my right, which is a southeast facing window. So yes, this does get an amount of direct sun. It sits right on the floor next to the window, reaching up to it, and it actually loves it. It puts out so much new growth. I would be careful about direct sun. You don't want the leaves to burn, but I transitioned it from being a little bit further back in the room, like where this little corner of my lower light plants is. It wasn't too happy there. I just saw a yellow leaf. We gonna hide that. Better. It was happy there, and then I moved it, and it's just been doing so well and has rewarded me with more variegation on that leaf, which is super exciting. So I keep mine in medium to highlight, a little tiny bit of direct morning sun, not evening sun. I don't have a west facing window. If I did, that would be pretty cool, but I don't. And yeah, lots of light for her because otherwise their stems, like the petioles, can get super weak and start to bend, which is not good because they would be reaching for light and they'd get a little etiolated and it would just be bad overall. Watering wise, I let this guy dry out. I know a lot of people say to keep them moderately like moist but not soggy. I don't really fully grasp what that means. So I let it dry most of the way out. This guy's probably gonna be due for a watering in a day or two, but especially with pushing out a new leaf. With the roots that are on this one, it's just crazy. I either bottom water, so I'll set this, since it is in a nursery pot with a ton of drainage on the bottom, I will either set this in, I have these little bowls from Target that are like this big. There's none over by me, otherwise I would grab one. They were like 79 cents. They work amazing. I bottom water everything in them. So I'll fill that up with water, let it soak in, fill it up some more, or I will thoroughly soak these. So what I mean by that is I'm not just gonna water a tiny bit. I'm gonna water it until water comes out the bottom, then I'm gonna let it sit in that water for a little bit, and then I'm gonna remove the extra water from the situation because you want these guys to be able to develop a vast root system. And if you're just watering the top 1.5 inches of the soil, they're not gonna have a deep root system and they're gonna be more prone to breakage and just general, like not being a healthy plant anymore, humidity wise. So, another slightly controversial one. A lot of people say these require super high humidity. That really hasn't been the case with me. My apartment rests around 42% humidity. This is a little humidity reader I got it for Christmas. That's without running a humidifier. My humidifier hasn't been on in about 3 or 4 days. I need to refill it. So my apartment hovers between 40% and 60, maybe 65% if I'm really lucky. These guys would get up to that, and it does actually, my humidifier sits right next to it just because that's where I can fit the humidifier, and it seems to enjoy it a bit, so that's good. Yeah, but my apartment doesn't get super dry in here very often, which is nice. I don't know if it's just because I am in Ohio and we get a lot of rain and snow and stuff throughout the winter, and most times actually. So humidity wise, it hasn't been very picky. It doesn't get crispy. It just stays gorgeous. And in general, some general things. So, when a new leaf is growing out, so I'm gonna show you with this one. So these 3 big leaves that you're seeing the backs of are on the same plant. And it is very normal for, if the plant isn't super established or it's not getting enough light or water, for it to drop the oldest leaf. It'll sacrifice the energy being used in, this is the oldest leaf on that plant. It'll sacrifice the energy being used to sustain this leaf to help with the new leaf. I'm not sure if it's gonna do that with this one. Normally it would be a lot droopier by now. So maybe I'll get to have 4 leaves on one, which would be pretty dang cool, because I haven't had that happen yet. So hopefully, but that is super normal. Most alocasias do that. I know my black velvet has done that. I'll do a separate video on that one sometime soon. These guys are also velvety, which I don't know about you, but that is just one of my favorite features in a plant, is if the leaves have some kind of texture, especially velvet. I have quite a few velvety plants, 2 velvety, I think 2 out of 3 of the alocasias that I own are velvety. I have a bunch of micans, 2 melanochrysums, a bunch of scindapsus, all of those are velvety, which is super cool. And yeah, another fun thing about alocasias is they can randomly push out variegation like this. So when I bought this bad boy, all of the plants were just like this leaf, perfectly normal, no variegation. And then I went on vacation for 3 weeks, or I went away for 3 weeks. I wasn't on vacation the whole time, but I wasn't home. And the first leaf that was like this actually recently died out, which is sad, but then I went away for a month. My boyfriend texted me, oh my goodness, is this variegation? Because he was being super sweet and watched my plants for a month. He would come by like once or twice a week and come check on them and water them, and he was like, is this variegation? And I was like, oh my goodness. Apparently he likes it when I go away and leave it alone. So that's fun. I'm really hoping it continues this time, because there is more striping in the petiole, and it's looking like the new leaf is gonna come from an area with striping. So cross all of your fingers, all of your toes, everything, that the variegation continues, because that is just gorgeous. And this leaf is almost hardened off completely. It's still a little flimsy compared to the other ones. It's still pretty thin because it is new. We lit it around. That helps strengthen the leaves, because in nature they have wind and rain and all of that fun stuff to do that for them. So sometimes you gotta do that. And another note about these guys is that you cannot propagate from a stem cutting. So you couldn't just bop off a leaf and put that in water and expect it to have roots. They have to have a piece of rhizome, and they will push pups out of the soil. So the big one in here, the big stalk in here, these 2 are its pups. They're connected. It has pushed those out from underneath. Those are separate plants and could be removed. And if you do have a piece of rhizome or little bulbs or tubers from it, you can grow from that, which is pretty neat. And that is what I did with the piece that in my repot with me video that broke off. I actually put that in water and it did develop roots because it had rhizome. But if it had just been a leaf, there would have been no roots, no chance for it to continue growing. And I know it had enough in it because a new leaf did form after the first one died off, which was pretty neat. And yeah, these guys are pretty easy. I had a lot more trouble with the Alocasia Amazonica, Poly, African Mask, whatever you want to call it, than I did with these. This has been a very steady grower for me. Pretty easy, low maintenance. I mean, what's not to like? Like, look at that veining in the pattern. And they're velvety and they can get big. It used to have leaves, like this would have been the smallest leaf on the little one, or the big one. And look at that, that's like double the size of my face. I'm really hoping it'll get big again when we get more light, because it's been really dreary here. Like, I don't think we've had sunlight without clouds for a week and a half maybe. So that's something fun. I'm glad that there's grow lights in my little greenhouse. Otherwise, I would have to move everything out of there or move the greenhouse to somewhere much closer to a window because there's no light getting over there right now. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. I just wanted to share a few of like my care tips for these guys because I don't know, it's been an easy grower for me. As long as you don't overwater it or severely underwater it or burn it, you'll be fine. Like, the fact that I can keep it in the window that I do, and that window has burned a few plants that I shouldn't have put that close to it. And this guy has been fine even with the variegated leaf, and the last variegated leaf even held up really well right there, and that was during the end of like August, so still summer, still really bright. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, feel free to give it a like, comment down below if you have one of these, if you want one of these, or if you know of anyone who has a variegated one, because I would love to see a bigger variegated one or one with better variegation than this one has. And yeah, follow me on Instagram at EmilyAPlants, and I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.